Now we will learn about how to implement the background processing concept in Java. So basically in your activity class that you are defining, you can define a new public class, any name or variable choose, which should extend the async task accepting 3 arguments. Now async tasks are used to create background threads, and especially this is useful for long threads in Android. And during this processing, what Android does is whatever you specify in do in background method, actually this can handle anything, but this async task do in background method cannot access the UI. And the basic purpose of this async task is to basically provide processing in a separate thread, so this does not hang the UI or cause any problem with it, and is especially useful for long threads or long processing activities or anything that may happen otherwise. Similarly, a runnable is a kind of as the name suggests, a runnable which can be used to handle any process or any run event, and we can accordingly handle it with its advanced processing capabilities and what gives us. So you can create a new async task and then you can call it by various methods. So first, in your async task you have an on pre-execute method. So first you override this method, you call super on pre-execute, and you specify the code that should run, such as I have a show dialog method, and I believe we have already studied about dialogues in the previous lectures, so this show dialog method should not be unfamiliar to you. Similarly, this is for dismissing the dialog. Now after calling on pre-execute, I have another overridden method do in background. Now it should accept a strings params method, and it should also return a string. Now here this string is corresponding to the first argument async task is being taken in this angular brackets. Now it takes this string and then you can create a new handler successfully. You can also create a new variable inside this, but remember that the method on pre-execute and the method on post-execute can access the UI, but do in background cannot access the UI. So kindly don't make any attempts to fire up any tools, otherwise you will get an error when you are trying to run your app. Finally, you can get the string parameter passed to it by taking the zero index of the params attribute defined here as the standard syntax. Now you have created a new runnable, which is again a kind of a service that Android creates. They have defined a public void run method which defines this whole runnable, and then you can use the handler to run this kind of runnables. So for example, handler.post delayed is a method which can be used to run a runnable after a specific time delay. So the first argument is my runnable representing the runnable, like R is the new runnable I have just created here, as you can see, and then the second is the time on milliseconds for which it has to be port delayed. And then after this runnable has run, I can change things defined in this do in background method, and for example I have set it to success. So after this has been done, I return a string, and after this string has been returned, it will be automatically passed to my on post execute method and as a parameter. And then this on post execute is overridden first of all, and then it is run after your background thread is completed. You need to call the super method here also, then you can do all the processing after your background thread is done, and this can be anything as you want. So this can be a void, and then you can do all the things after you have created for processing. And this is how you define a new async task which is used for background processing. You can also use a on progress update attribute which will accept another type of parameter which will specify again in the async task parameter. So the first one is for your do in background, and kind of another thing. So the first string is here that will be passed to do in background. The second string is the string that will be returned to your on post execute. So this is what actually your do in background return. And the third string defines the string that your on progress update is to be passed to, and then also you have to pass super. So whenever your background thread is running, you may call the on progress update to actually update the progress, which can be accessed from wherever this new async task is created. This is how you define an async task. And then how we actually use this async task is simple. We call new constructor space then the async task name, two quotes, as we are creating a new instance of it, dot execute, and then we pass the parameter. So this string that I'm passing here in the execute method is basically corresponding to the data that I defined as the first parameter in the async task, and it will be passed to the do and background method, and then you can access the string I passed here by doing a processing, or you can actually get the first item on the zero index of the params to get the string passed there. Similarly, you may also do other kind of background tasks, and you can actually give many strings here, and all the arguments in the execute method will be of the same type as strings and can be accessed by indexes of params or any variable you specify here. So this is the format of async task, and you can use this for background processing in Android. So now we will learn more into Android in the further consequent lectures, and I hope that you use background async tasks to do long processes or any kind of process that out which the time limit you are not aware of, so it does not hang the UI and gives a smooth user experience.